It's 1992.
178 world leaders gathered in Rio
They're
today.
calling it the summit that will save the planet.
For 20 years, we have followed the lives of 11 children, born in 10 countries across the world, all born at the time of the Rio Earth Summit. The first time world leaders had got together to promise future generations a better world.
If a man cheats the earth will cheat man.
We wanted to know if the promises of the Earth Summit would be fulfilled in their lives.
I am fighting for my future.
The promise of a cleaner, healthier, better educated, and less dangerous world.
I am here to speak for all generations to come.
These are the babies, then kids, then teenagers, and now young adults we've been following. It's a unique adventure, spanning our fast-changing world over 20 years through the lives of our children and their families in far corners of the Earth. Now, in 2012, there's a new Earth Summit in Rio, and we've returned to each child to discover what lessons their lives have to offer. In this episode, we travel to Brazil, where Rosa Maria was born within yards of the summit. To Papua New Guinea, where Angela was born, just as a new gold mine was being opened. To Latvia, newly free from Soviet rule, where Martins was born. And to the north of England, where Hayley was born just as her dad was being made redundant.
But not everyone agrees that cultural boycott should...
Whole villages emptied at the centre of allegation.
Only a few get rich, but everyone lives on hope.
Sounds economic reform.
Youth and inexperience are no match for maturity and determination.
In 1992, in the English coal mining town of St. Helens, Brian and Lynn Turner are about to have a baby.
I'd really like to be more than a mother to my child. I'd like to be a friend as well.
Theirs will be the first Earth Summit baby we'll be following for 20 years.
I think I would like a little girl.
That's it, like that?
Yeah.
To be truthful, I don't mind. I won't be disappointed either way. As long as Lynn's healthy and the baby's healthy.
Hello, Sotty. Hello, sweet.
Brian is a miner, and his job is threatened. When we first filmed here in 1992, he and his wife Lynn campaigned against the closure of the local pit, the town's main source of employment. Brian and Lynn feel the threatened closure will destroy their community.
You look at the state of affairs and what's going on in the world and you think, is it the right thing to do to bring a child into all this? But at the end of the day, it's the children who are the future, aren't they?
If you listen to everything that was said about like the state of the world, you'd never, you'd never do anything or go anywhere. You'd put yourself in a plastic bubble. These children now, they're our future. And if we educate them right, maybe these children can change the world in which we live in.
Lynn has a potentially life-threatening condition. Giving birth naturally would threaten both her and the baby's survival. Her best hope is to have a cesarean.
See what you got? She was right. Congratulations. She was right.
What we calling them?
Hayley. Yeah, Hayley Louise.
Hayley Louise Turner, the first of our babies.
Your mum be so proud of you, won't she? She will for sure. Baby's fine. Just want your mum back now, don't we, chicken? Just want your mother.
What weight is she?
£6.5. Everything's there, she's lovely.
Soon after her birth, baby Hayley's parents and the miners lose the battle to keep their pit open. At the dawn of globalization, forces greater than them are at work. Cheaper coal is available from elsewhere, and Haley's dad is on the job heap.
That's it, lass.
Across the Atlantic, within shouting distance of the Earth Summit in Rio, baby Rosa Maria also came into the world. Her family lives in Rocinha, a shantytown or favela, where over 60,000 people live squeezed against the hills overlooking the apartments of the rich. Rosa Maria is the latest in a large family. 8 children. A large family and a broken one. We'll be finding out if her own life will be different. In the favela, the extended family is everything. Siblings are shared and father figures may come and go. Rosa Maria's dad has already abandoned them. An uncle, José, now takes care of the family. He's building them a home.
Everything comes from the sea. The money I get from fish turns into houses. I fish from the sea and take it here. That's why I call this house seafood.
Rosa Maria's hope of a better future depends on the riches of the sea. Her uncle fishes Rio Bay, and the bay that played host to the Earth Summit is polluted.
The problem here is the pollution from the sewers, which empty into the sea. The pollution comes from Rio, from those hotels over there.
Rosa Maria's Rio has been described as where the Third World and the First World cohabit. Brazil's richest 1% own almost half the country's wealth.
The problem is, there are a few people who are rich and many who have nothing. It's too bad I happen to be one of the many who have nothing.
Angela Dada is a big, healthy baby, born in a tropical paradise, Papua New Guinea, a Pacific land that was one of the cradles of agriculture, home to a quarter of the world's languages. The island of Lihir looks much today as it did 1,000 years ago. We'll be following Angela over just the next 20.
We are a poor country, but we've been told about plans to dig a gold mine. The economy will grow, and there'll be schools, health centers, and hospitals. They said everything will be better for our baby and the children of this country.
Angela's dad, Clements, runs the local bank. The new mine, he hopes, will bring wealth and a brighter future for baby Angela.
I have high hopes for her. I hope the gold mine will help her get a good education.
But the islanders also worry about the dangers progress via a gold mine may bring. Environmental ruin, alcohol, prostitution. Angela's dad cherishes a dream.
I didn't get a chance to go to university, so I hope the gold mine means my daughter will.
At the same time, thousands of miles away, baby Martins came into the world in the town of Jelgava in Latvia. Martins was born at an exciting time for Latvians who've just emerged from decades of Soviet rule.
From the moment I was pregnant, I said to myself, no matter what the problems, we'll have this child.
This is the reason why Mara, baby Martin's mum, is worried. 50 years of communist rule under the Soviets have just come to an end, leaving behind a toxic legacy.
In this hospital, there are many pregnant women from Jelgava with kidney failure. The doctors say that sickness is endemic in the towns near the old chemical plants. Life is hard, but I'm still very happy to have this son. I want him to have a better life than us.
Jelgava, just outside the capital Riga, was at the heart of Soviet manufacturing. When the Soviets left, their factories were abandoned overnight. The cleanup will take decades. As Martins grows up, we'll be back to see how he and his family fare.
Prince Charles' marriage was ended unceremoniously. Miseries over divorce have led to...
Bill Clinton has won the last American election of the 20th century.
In 1996 in Brazil, Rosa Maria is still being brought up in the favela by her uncle José. She's just 4. He's doing the best he can.
Our little Rosa Maria is growing. Every day that passes, she is prettier. She's no longer a baby. I've given them what they needed most. It's up to the kids now. We are only their guiding hands.
My birthday.
How old are you?
4.
4.
At last, our children are talking.
I had a present, got that trampoline for my birthday. Got some guinea pigs for my birthday.
You got some guinea pigs for your birthday?
And they keep biting the wood on the door. Naughty. Naughty. He's naughty, isn't he? He's biting. Should he not? Naughty.
I'm going to see whose birthday it is today.
At 4, Hayley's not short of love either. But life in St. Helens has changed. The English coal pits are now closed. The work environment transformed. Hayley's dad, Brian, has only been able to find freelance work in his trade as an electrician.
There's a bit of work come in the area, but nothing substantial. The big consortiums, they come in, they get a grant off the government, they build a big supermarket, a big warehousing development. They stay as long as the grant's there, and then they move on somewhere else, don't they? And they leave all them people behind them back on the dole again. Yes.
In Latvia, Martins is a healthy 6-year-old.
I want to be an electrician like my dad.
And what's your favorite hobby?
I like riding my bike with my friends.
6 years after we began filming, Martin's parents still worry about the possible effects of pollution on their son from nearby chemical works.
I'm not a scientist, but the snow is still grey in the winter and the water is still acidic.
Mr. Milosevic, the holiday island of Bali.
Just a procession of people covered in blood.
This is the biggest currency swap in history. Then it's the euro for good.
There are known knowns.
When you're eating pretzels, chew before you swallow.
It's 10 years after the Earth Summit was held. And in Rocinha, the favela in Rio, Rosa Maria is a lively 10-year-old.
This is the cooker where my mom makes the food. And this is the sink where my mom does the dishes. This is where I sleep. This is the bed where Roger sleeps. Mom sleeps here, Manji here, and Raimundo and the others over there. I want the roof fixed. And I want a swimming pool. Please, God, let me have a swimming pool.
There are new children, but her mother, Regina, has split up with her latest partner. Rosa Maria's uncle José is no longer on the scene. They've since moved house. It's been tough on Rosa Maria.
When we first moved here, she didn't talk much. She didn't like it. She used to cry a lot, and I told her, "We cannot go back to the old house. Your father and I are splitting up." But she didn't want to move.
Rosa Maria's life in the favela is precarious. Violent drug gangs are never far away.
Rose, is there anything about Rosinha you would like to change?
Yes. You need to put a stop to the shooting, both by the police and the criminals.
School is a 20-minute walk through the winding lanes of Rocinha. Free schooling is available for all children in Brazil. But for Rosa Maria, living in the favela, another influence has stepped into her 10-year-old life that's every bit as important. A new father figure. He's also playing a big part in her neighborhood.
Next Sunday, we are having a special leisure day for the kids in Lago da Campinha.
Lee is a community DJ. He's created a safe space for Rosa Maria and the other children in the favela. He believes he's had more impact on their lives than the promises of the politicians.
I'm fighting for Rosa Maria and the other children to have a more secure future and to be happy.
Lee has built a small playground for Rosa Maria and the other children. Rosa Maria's not getting on well at school, but here too, he's helping. And he's teaching the children computer skills.
It's a world of division. Those who know computers will get that job. Those who don't will miss out.
I like a computer to help do my homework and a piano so I can play like this.
In Britain, 10-year-old Hayley's had a more stable family background.
What's the most powerful country in the world?
England. Because I've lived in England all my life and it seems really important to me. English people are kind and considerate and nice to each other. Even if you don't know one person and you ask you for directions, they tell you and say enjoy it, and if you sometimes they give you the phone number if you don't get there.
She's clever, she's quick, she's very affectionate, very, very affectionate, and she's very generous as well with stuff that she has. She will give anything away, won't she?
Yeah, she's not selfish.
Not selfish
in the slightest.
No.
Hayley's dad, Brian's on a freelance contract working for a local fairground.
It's different. I'm working outside, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. It's a big change yet again.
I wouldn't mind that job.
Yeah. Let's see what I can do for you. Yeah.
Brian's earnings pay the mortgage on the family house and provide for their basic needs. And a few extras.
Dad, can I have some money to get some popcorn?
The biggest fear I've got is on the job security side. Brian is like the only wage earner. And when your other jobs have gone, it's been devastating, hasn't it?
Mm. Every generation has its share of nightmares and bogeymen. For Hayley, it's this.
I know what terrorism is when people are nasty to other people.
Can you tell me about that?
People, and I said, September the 11th was taking over the drivers of the plane and killing them so they could drive them into the Twin Towers and knock them down, and quite a few people died.
And what do you think about that?
That's very upsetting.
You know, for her, what is going to happen in the future? That's something that we have been concerned about.
Another 10 years, I don't know. I wish I did know what was going to happen.
I don't want to.
No?
I don't want to know what's going to happen in 10 years' time.
In Latvia, we're thrilled to find Martins is a healthy 10-year-old.
So do you feel grown up? Don't swing your leg. Speak up. Do you feel like a grown-up yet?
Yeah, that's right.
Martin's dad, Modrus, has an eye condition that's left him partially blind. He no longer works.
There was too much pressure on my eyes. My retina ruptured and now I need operations. The first operation was 2 years ago. I have another one this year.
Mara, Martin's mother, is now the main breadwinner.
I wish my dad could see again. That way we could play football like we used to.
Latvia's joined the European Union, which is helping to fund the cleanup of the Soviet-era factories. Long years of Russian rule have sharpened the sense of national identity. Something to be celebrated. Martin's parents see to it that every year he takes part in Latvia's National Song and Dance Festival.
Singing, dancing and learning English, these are not luxuries. We'll pay for them, whatever the cost. We don't want him to miss out.
Oh, gosh.
4 of our 11 children from far corners of the globe. For them, the next 10 years will change everything.
The Syrian rebel had a handgun. His enemies had a T-72 tank.
Pretty formidable fight. One side of the ship
The Greeks have been letting people know what they think of austerity measures.
There are a lot of issues here, the sort of society and the way it's going.
So in love.
We've returned to Papua New Guinea to catch up with Angela, born on the small island of Lihir, where a new gold mine promised to bring development. Angela's now 19 and a student at the National High School of Excellence, where she is sitting her final exams.
In 2010, they selected the best students from around the country to come here. When they selected me, I was happy, and I was one of the lucky students to come to this school.
Angela's school is 500 miles from her home on Lihir Island.
This is my cube. Okay, these are my books. This is my paramedics. This is me. Yeah. These are some of my last year's photos.
When I first came to the school, I felt homesick. I missed my mom. The grade 12s were hostile towards us. There were various cliques in our school. But as time went on, I got used to the place. In Term 4, they needed someone to be the head girl, so they appointed me.
Yeah.
Angela was well nurtured by her parents, who helped her meet the challenge of getting to her country's most prestigious school. But now she's here, she's finding it hard going.
The courses that we're taking is a bit hard than from my ex-school. But at home, when I find it difficult, I used to go and ask my dad to assist me in doing my homework. So when I came, it's like there's no one so that I can go to.
Exams are finally over and Angela is heading home. But the island she was born on nearly 20 years ago has seen big changes. Lihir is home to one of the biggest gold mines on the planet, producing around 22 tons of gold per year. Originally given just a 25-year lifespan, the amount of gold has exceeded expectations, and the mine is expected to operate for decades to come.
Before the mine came, my ancestors had a vision. They said in the future Lihir would become a city. The place where the mine is now, they said it was the heaven. I think the mining is both good and bad. On the good side, they've made the roads and provided infrastructure and schools. But as for the environment, the mining has caused a lot of damage. And that's my dad.
Angela's dad's initial enthusiasm for the mine soon faded. He became president of the local government, where he campaigned for the islanders' rights. Then, after a long battle with diabetes, he passed away, leaving behind his wife, Angela, and 7 other children.
But because daddy is sick now.
Because daddy was sick and there was no one to support the family. So my big sister had to. She works at the gold mine now. I'm going to be with my mom after I graduate. I'm thinking of doing some kind of part-time job with the gold mine.
Like her dad before her, Angela hopes to play an important role in her community.
I hope in the future that I will become a doctor. That's what I always wanted. I want to get married and have children. But I like to get a job first. Maybe later I'll think about getting married.
On the opposite side of the world, in Latvia, Martins is also now 19. He lives in the same room he had as a baby, and he has something to say.
When I wrote that song, I was feeling angry, and I was ready to explode.
A quarter of Martin's generation are unemployed. The economy's been in recession. Frustrations are easily vented on their former colonial rulers. 1/3 of Latvia's population is Russian.
We just had a referendum over Russian becoming a second state language. Well, this is unacceptable. Latvia is one, there can be only one state language.
But you have friends who are Russian, right?
Yes, some Russians are okay.
One language, not two languages.
Martins isn't put off by the recession. He wants to open a business and thinks he knows what. He's gone to catering school.
The plan is to have my own restaurant, but I have to get experience first. I'm serious, I will open it. I've had obstacles in my life, I have always overcome them. I won't let things stand in my way. We'll fight, improve and survive, and we'll overcome this crisis and make Latvia a better place. In time, we'll get there.
"20 years after we started filming, we're back in Rio, where it all began with the Earth Summit. What's become of Rosa Maria, the little girl from a broken family in Rio's Rocinha, the girl who had wanted a swimming pool? Rosa Maria now has an 18-month-old son of her own, Gustavo. And the father? He's gone. Like her father before her, he's abandoned them.
Were you planning to get pregnant?
No.
So what happened?
With Gustavo, we didn't take precautions.
Rosa Maria now has a new partner. Wallace is the new father figure for her son. And she's pregnant again. But this time, it's different.
Wallace is the father of my new baby. He's a great man. He's someone that God put in my life. I'll do anything to keep him. Whatever he can do, he'll do for me. Pills, birth control, injections. I didn't care for any of that, so I ended up getting pregnant again.
Rosa Maria and Wallace have a small flat of their own. There's no kitchen, so they cook at her mother's place.
I'm 19, turning 20 in March. We met at work on a building site, so we've been together for almost a year.
I don't know what gets into me. With Gustavo's dad, it wasn't like this. After having Gustavo, I was careful to take precautions, but with Wallace was different. I don't know why.
Despite her guardian's best efforts, Rosa Maria struggled at school from a young age, and she left early.
I left at 17. I was doing nothing at school, no homework. I only wanted to play. I threw people's rucksacks up in the air. They were getting tired of me. Our teacher said either we expel her or we send her to corrective school. Then I met the father of my son. I got pregnant and then I left the school for good.
Since we were last here, Rosa Maria's neighborhood has changed dramatically, and, as her brother knows, for the better.
Things have improved a lot. Nowadays it's all different. People have more opportunities, courses, projects, schools, hospitals. Everything is better planned now, much better.
The shanty town of Rosa Maria's childhood is looking increasingly like a normal town. Investment from state authorities and private companies have brought new housing estates, a 24-hour health center, and yes, even a swimming pool. That's something that 10 years ago she could only have dreamt of.
There is football, ballet, everything you can think of is there for the kids to have fun. The mothers can all send their kids there, where they can learn to be responsible and get something out of life.
The changes in Rocinha may have come too late for Rosa Maria, but they'll make a real difference to other children growing up here. What's made it all possible was the arrival of the so-called pacification squad.
The police arrived. They came up the hill. There was no shooting, nothing. They arrested the drug lord. Afterwards, it was all over, and we have peace ever since. Now the police are here, and they play with the kids. That's how much it has changed.
Não é
Dramatic changes for Rosa Maria in the favela. Is that also the case in the north of England? We've returned to St. Helens to see what's become of our first Earth Summit child, Hayley Turner.
When you grow up, what would the world be like?
Smaller.
Think about when you were 10 and how the world is now.
I remember the football from when it was recorded last time. And then life changed because Mum and Dad split up.
How was that?
It was hard. But you've got to get used to it.
In 2003, Hayley's parents separated. Not long after, Hayley's mother became seriously ill when doctors failed to diagnose her condition with water pressure on the brain. As a result, Lynn is partially blind.
She's had a lot to cope with, and she basically turned from my little girl, you know, with her own life, her own friends, into my carer. And that also has made her have to grow up rather quickly. In essence, I suppose she's been robbed of her childhood. You know, and if I could change things, I should.
At first it was hard because just to argue with my mum or my dad over, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. So I think that's what made me move out. I want to be independent and I don't want someone telling me what I can and can't do. I was just turning 17 when I moved out. Dad!
Well, you're growing up, aren't you? You're older.
Don't live here anymore, that's why.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm an ogre, am I?
Yeah.
Just a big bad ogre. Shrek. Okay?
No.
Just as Hayley was born, the coal pit her dad Brian and the town of St. Helens depended on was being closed. Since then, Brian managed on a string of freelance contracts. He worries the future may be harder for Hayley.
For an 18-year-old now who's struggling to find work, I think it's a very hard and a very difficult time for them. So where were they?
In the back of Palm Breaker. That's me dad.
Marketplace to me just seems to be fast food, takeaway, shops, retail, sales. That seems to be the only market that you ever see any work these days. Hayley's generation, I don't think they'll be as well off as I am. Maybe have I had the better part of it? And what does the future have in store for this younger generation?
Years of economic decline have had an impact on Hayley's generation.
Most of my friends from school now have children.
So they've started having children at what age, like 17, 18?
15 onwards. If they're still together with the child's father, the mother and father can claim together to get money for like rent, which would be paid by housing benefit, and income support and child tax credit. They do get enough help.
And does that leave somebody like you who's unemployed with no kids, does that leave you behind?
It does leave me behind, but I'm not that bothered about being behind at the moment.
Do you know why this is here?
No.
This dream?
No.
It's like a girl with her eyes closed, of like a dream of dreaming of the future and what the future will bring. And all this under here, this is all old slag from pit. So underneath us now, there's loads of tunnels everywhere. It's good though how it's just in mist, isn't it?
It's weird, it looks
it's
weird.
It's like you're making a face out at clouds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ex terra lucem. From the earth comes light.
A giant sculpture dedicated to generations of miners who, like Hayley's dad, fed their families by toiling underground. It represents a dreaming girl. Hayley, too, has a dream.
I'd rather fight through it all and go to university, get a decent education, decent job, and then me think about children. Yeah.
What? What are you thinking?
I've had enough.
Cold?
Just had enough.
Should have brought a picnic with us.
No, it's too cold.
In Rio, we've had news that Rosa Maria has been taken ill during the night and has been rushed to hospital. All her boyfriend Wallace and her mum can do now is wait.
I found her outside, buckled up with pain in her belly. I said, let's go to the clinic. She said, no, I can't walk. Man, it was something really, it was really scary. I was thinking the baby might come out there and then. I was really worried.
I was worried. I was thinking, oh my God, what will happen to my daughter? Will she die? I was thinking that because it always happens, right? They always save the child or the mother.
In the early hours, a health officer emerges with news of Rosa Maria.
She would have had twins, but she lost them. But she appears to be well.
A few days later, Rosa Maria is out of hospital, a little frail, but she's mending and keen to take more control of her life.
I don't want this. I'm a proud person and I don't want to depend on anyone. I want to go back to work and give the best to my baby Gustavo. That's all I want.
Just 4 of the 11 lives we've been following across the world since birth. An epic endeavor. When we started, we had no idea how events would unfold in their lives. Some looking very much up, and others marred by tragedy. In our next episode, we'll travel to Tamil Nadu in India, where Panji was born into a society where children go to work. To the Arctic north of Norway, where Emilia was born to a fishing family. And to South Africa, where, because of the unique circumstances, we follow 2 babies, Justin and Vasumsi.